Jamey keeps drafting. So who are the players that end up on his team? The most players we keep drafting right now on FFT Express. Yeah, I don't know that I'm doing enough drafts lately to contribute to anything substantial here, Jamey, but I know you are always drafting, and I appreciate that about you. So let's kick it off. Who are some of the players that you draft the most?
Should we go by position or should we go by just players?
Position.
Okay, so quarterbacks is relatively easy because I typically tend to wait on quarterbacks. So if the value's right, I will obviously take Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Josh Allen. But for the most part, the quarterback group that I'm drafting from is typically Justin Fields, Kyler Murray, Drake Maye, Dak Prescott, some Baker Mayfield, some Bo Nix. So quarterbacks 7 through 12 in my rankings. They just seem to fall to the spots where I'm comfortable drafting them. 4-point versus 6 points clearly changes a lot of things. So the last 4-point per passing touchdown leagues that I've done, 1 best ball, 1 redraft. I got Joe Burrow in round 6 because I thought the value was fine for him, and I think he goes a little bit too far. That was best ball draft. And then I took Justin Fields in round 10 of a 4-point for passing touchdown leagues. Because that was at QB7 because I think his rushing potential is too hard to pass up in those formats.
Yeah, you deserve some. Nope, not laughter.
And I'm a weird.
There we go. Applause. You want to hear the rest of that Dan quote? Just a throwback.
And I'm a weird guy when it cocomes to the things I do with my hands.
If this is the conversation that you have to have if you're into handcuffs.
Oh, right. That was the sexy FFT moment there. Anyway, sorry for flubbing that. But no, that's great. I mean, Justin Fields that late in a 4-point per passing touchdown league.
It's not really that late, though. It's just, again, you have to put it in context of when the quarterbacks are coming off the board.
Yeah, I guess so. But well done. All right. So that's the range that you like to be at quarterback. How about running back?
So this is, kind of all over the map for me in terms of the high-end guys, because depending on what pick I'm drafting, I will take Jahmyr Gibbs. I will take Christian McCaffrey. I will take Ashton Genty. I've taken, Robinson if I have a pick in the first 3 overall selections. I don't draft a lot of Saquon Barkley, as you might expect. Round 2, it's all those guys, depending on who's available, from Chase Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irving. In terms of the most, though, it's more of the middle tier guys. I draft a lot of Tyjae Spears. I draft a lot of Jordan Mason. Those are probably the 2 running backs I have the most exposure to at this point, based on where they fall and what my thoughts are for them in terms of guys who I think will have significant roles at some point during the season, or you could even use as flex options. Trying to think who else that I draft a lot of.
Well, this one I can actually give you a name that I know I will be drafting a lot of, and I have drafted a lot of. I know you know who I'm going to say.
Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah. Here's my favorite thing about Isaiah Pacheco. I looked at ADP last year. 2024 Fantasy Pros PPR ADP. Isaiah Pacheco was going 20th overall. Now he's a 6th round pick. And honestly, I don't think that much has changed for him. I think his competition, I think Kareem Hunt's one of the worst running backs in football. He's not bad in short yardage, but he's 30 years old. I think today is Kareem Hunt's birthday, by the way. Happy birthday. Sorry, I called you the worst running back in football. He could take him off the field in short yardage. I think Elijah Mitchell is stiffer competition for Pacheco. But if Pacheco is back healthy, he is just going to destroy his 6th round average draft position. I think everything was the injury last year, everything. And I'm very hopeful for him.
I do agree 1,000% with what you said in your evaluation of the Chiefs running backs. Unfortunately, I don't know if the Chiefs have that same evaluation, simply from the standpoint of, we think Kareem Hunt can do X. We think Elijah Mitchell can do Y. We think Brashard Smith can do Z. And those 3 letters, why they use those 3 letters, but those 3 letters may unfortunately impact Pacheco to a certain degree where I don't know if round 6 makes the most sense, but seems to be the spot where might be the best for his value. So I think he's going to have a stretch of the season with a better offensive line potentially for the Chiefs than we saw last year, which could help Hunt as well. Remember, Hunt was running behind that crappy offensive line by the end of the season. But will he score enough touchdowns because of Hunt, excuse me? And will he get enough receptions? because last year, I think going into the season, it was who they use, Carson Steele. Like it was very obvious that it was going to be Pacheco. So I think there is some competition that could matter from what the coaches decide to do, and also maybe not wanting to put so much on Pacheco. Not that that was the reason he got hurt, but you never know. In any event, I think you're right on Pacheco. He's a great player to target in that range, especially if you go hero RB or zero RB. But even if you're just looking at him as a flex, if you take your 2 running backs in the first 5 rounds, like why not? He's on one of the better offenses, at least what we expect going into the season.
All right, we can take a break, and Jamey's going to tell you the wide receivers and tight ends he's been drafting the most after this.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Okay, wide receiver. What are your rosters looking like right now?
So again, going past the high end guys, the receivers that I tend to target the most, and don't love the injury situation for a couple of these guys, but Darnell Mooney has been one of the most rostered players I have, and the schedule's great. I think the offense is going to be very prolific from a passing standpoint. I'm nervous about the shoulder injury now, but now that's just helped his fantasy value. Someone that I'm drafting a lot of now and trying to is Luther Burden. I think playing the slot role for the Bears is going to be beneficial for him. Again, very easy player to select based on his value. I draft a lot of Cedric Tillman and Demario Douglas too. I think just given where they're going, late round picks. Tillman's going to hopefully benefit with Joe Flacco looking like the starter. We saw the 3 games after Amari Cooper was traded last year. And Douglas, the slot receiver for Josh McDaniels. I don't think you're going to get Wes Welker, Julian Edelman production, but again, given where he's being drafted, like, why would you pass that up? Like, yes, Stephon Diggs could be great. And yes, maybe Kyle Williams could have some good performances as a rookie. But I think Douglas, if he is going to be the slot receiver the majority of the season, just too easy to draft based on his capital.
Okay, and we'll finish with tight ends. I'm looking at my Scott Fishbowl team, and this is really a team of players that I think I'm going to be drafting a lot. So I'll read some of the names, but who are your tight ends that you've been drafting the most?
So I draft a lot of George Kittle. Not somebody that we get, especially at the back end of the first round. Like if you get to that 3-4 turn, it just feels like it's easy to take him. I draft a lot of David Njoku. He's probably my most rostered tight end, hoping that he's going to benefit again with the quarterback being the veteran guy. And what we've seen from him basically with every non-Deshaun Watson quarterback has been great for Njoku over the last 3 seasons. I draft a lot of Tucker Kraft recently. I draft a lot of Evan Ingram as well. I think he's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be great. I think Kraft and Ingram will be, I sort of look at it as, what point per game range am I getting with the tight ends? Because I think that's easy to sort of put those guys in categories. And 10 is kind of the fallback for me. So Ingram, I think, is just above that. But the 2 rookies, Loveland and Warren, I think are 10-point per game guys. I think Tucker Kraft is just above that as well. Goddard's a 10-point per game guy. Ertz is a 10-point per game guy. Ferguson's a 10-point per game guy. Like I want 11 or 12 if I can get it. And I think Ingram is one of those guys. I think Kraft is one of those guys. So it's a slim margin of where you're looking. And I don't think you should be drafting them so far apart. But those are the guys I tend to draft in that range the most is Kraft, Ingram, and Loveland. I like his outlook as well.
All right, my Scott Fishbowl team is definitely a collection of my guys, so to speak. Nico Collins has a 2nd-round ADP. I have him as wide receiver 2 or 3 right now. I haven't decided if I like him better than CeeDee Lamb. Christian McCaffrey, I have as my 3rd overall player, although I will not be quite as bullish. I mean, he is my 3rd overall player, but I wouldn't take him in every single league because he's 29. Jackson Smith-Njigba, I love his ADP. I get a little squeamish with some of the running backs and wide receivers at the 3-4 turn, but JSN is not one of them. I have a lot of confidence in him. I like him better than, pardon me, Garrett Wilson, for example, who goes in that range. Pacheco, I talked about. Ricky Pearsall. I love Ricky Pearsall. I did this. This was a few weeks ago. We did this draft, but now that Juwan Jennings is hurt and holding out or whatever, it's even more appealing. But I love Ricky Pearsall, and I love Christian Kirk as a late round pick. I think he has very little upside, but I do think he could be He's like my Darnell Mooney. Mooney might have more upside, but I think maybe a safer floor for Kirk. I still believe in him as a number 3 receiver. You don't have to draft him, but he's goes pretty late. And that'd be it. That'd be my list of right now. All right. Thank you, Jamey. Good stuff.
All group.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And Joe Burrow's your guy. I mean, you draft him whenever you can.
Yeah, man, it's so hard to draft quarterback early sometimes, but because I also like Kittle. Kittle is one of my favorite values. And then if I take Kittle, I'm probably not taking Burrow because they go in the same round. So I have to make that choice, and it's a tough choice to make. But that's it for our show. We will talk to you tomorrow on FFT. I think FFT Express is actually back on Thursday, but tomorrow on FFT, it's RB Preview Part 2. See you later.